What is up, my beauties? This is your girl Aminah, back with Simple Beauty, y'all, and today we are getting right back into this hair series of wash and goes, y'all. Okay, so if you are new here, welcome, beauty. You are new to our team, to our squad, to our table, to this wash and go series. Okay, so I want to welcome you to this channel. Make sure you subscribe. Okay, don't even think about it, honey, because you want to get in on this YouTube wash and go series right here at your girl's Simple Beauty's channel. Okay, I'm constantly dropping gems for this wash and go series, so I want to make sure that you are tuned in and connected. Okay, get connected, click in, honey, click in. All you gotta do is click that subscribe button. But you already know, yo, we are going to jump right into this. So today I want to really hone in on type, texture, and density. Okay, so this topic for me, can I be honest with you just for a few seconds here? This topic for me, I feel like it's frustrating because for many of us, as a whole, as people, we confuse these terms with one another. So the misconception of what hair type is, or texture, or density is, well, it could be the fact that, you know, people have lack of information, right, in this area specifically. Okay, so people really don't know what the definition of texture is, or density is, or typing is. Okay, so and they could in a roundabout way say the wrong stuff, right, or have this perception of what this term is or what it means to them, right? So yeah, it just, to me, like I said, it's one of them things. I just hate the misconception that's out there that, you know, when we're talking about hair type, what's the whole point of good hair and bad hair and everything else? I hate it to my core, because there's no such thing as good hair. There's no such thing as bad hair. Okay, so we all have our own head of hair, okay, that was designed perfectly for us by the Lord. Okay, so, you know, he created us in his image, and that is just something we should be proud of at the end of the day. So yeah, so I really wanted to really hone in on this topic. So make sure you are connected with me through this camera, y'all. Y'all are listening to what I have to say, because I have a lot that I want to share. So the first thing I really want to get into is hair typing. Okay, so if you are new to my channel and you have not really got to really look into my content, go through my channel, my videos, and everything else, and if you have been with me, my beauties have been with me, that has been with me through this process, you know for a fact that I do not hair type on my channel. If you have not noticed, I do not hair type on my channel. You will never catch me putting in the title 3C, you know, wash and go, 4C, BC, you know, like, I said BC because that's how frustrating it is to me, because it's like all these numbers, all these letters. I feel like at the end of the day, hair typing is just so, it's silly to me. For just lack of better words, it is a silly concept to me. And I hate the fact that as people, not even as a black culture, but as people, we are putting ourselves in a box when it comes to our hair. No one can really hone in on the different types of hair that's out here. And it's not even types, the different textures of hair that is out here. You can have several different textures of hair throughout your head. Okay, so I'm not big on typing at the end of the day. I am not big on none of that. So you will hear me talk about my pattern from time to time in my videos, and that's just me telling you, like, oh, I have a spiral curl, so that way you can see that, oh, my hair spirals this way, or I might have a tighter curl in certain areas. Some areas of my head, I actually have looser curls in the front, you know, so, and I have more, my curls are tighter in the back. So I really don't try to identify with the whole chart thing. Yeah, so that's that, y'all. I just wanted to put that out there, that I don't do that here on my channel. I feel like it does not help you at the end of the day. It has nothing to do with your hair growth and your hair health. Okay, it is not going to help in any of those areas, other than how people perceive your hair once they see you up front, when they meet with you and everything else, right? So yeah, take that out. If you are new to wash and goes and being natural, do not allow that seed to be planted in you. Okay, uproot it. If it is planted in you, get rid of it, because we really do not care about all the hair typing, you know what, my hair look like this way, my hair look like that way. That does not matter. I am telling you, it is not going to matter in the health of your hair and in the growth of your hair. It does not matter in your hair journey. Yes, it is pleasing to the eyes to see how our hair really bounces back, how it curls up and everything else, or how it waves up. You know, it's pleasing to the eye in that sense, but it's not helpful in any manner in which you want to grow your hair or take care of your hair, take care of your scalp. Okay, so yeah, that is it, y'all. I had to get that off my chest and give that to y'all. Okay, so yeah, so we are going to dive right into the biggest thing I am diving into today is really more so your texture and your hair density. Okay, so let's jump into this, y'all. Let's jump into it. But before we get started, y'all, I want to let y'all know genetics plays a part in everything I am going to discuss today. Let that just marinate in your soul, in your spirit. Let it just sit and relax. Hear me again. Your genetics will play a part in your hair density and in your hair texture. Okay, so everyone has a different density, everyone has a different texture. Okay, so your genetics will play a part in all of that. Sorry to tell you this, but it does. Okay, there is nothing you can change about it. There is one thing in there you can change in regards to both of these, and I'll discuss that later on, but I'm just putting that disclaimer out there, so in case you don't know, that's how that works. Okay, so how your hair grows and your hair texture is all part of your genetics. Okay, so you know, I just want to put that out there because I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about that. You know, you have people say, oh, I grew my hair in a year, or I grew my hair in 2 years, and this is how I did it, and this is how let me tell you that all plays in an individual's genetics. Okay, so hair growth, that's what I always preach on my channel. I preach it till I'm blue in the face. Worry about the health of your hair and the health of your scalp. That's what I'm going to say about that, so we can get right into this. Okay, so yeah, so going forward, hair type is often confused with hair texture, and hair texture is often confused with hair density. Let that marinate too. Keep that, just keep it. Hair type is often confused with texture, and hair texture is often confused with hair density. And what do I mean by this? So let's talk about our hair type and our hair texture. Like I said before, hair type is your hair pattern, right? So that's where you get into all the 3A's, 4B, and everything else. What I told you, I just do not deal with. So going straight into hair texture. Okay, so a lot of time people think that texture is how your hair feels or how your hair moves when you touch your hair. And it has nothing to do with neither one of those. Your hair texture is actually, the legit definition of your hair texture is all focused on the thickness of your hair strand, also known as your hair shaft. Okay, so it really hones in on the diameter of your hair strand itself. Now we're not going to talk about diameter too much and everything else, but I just wanted to put that out there. It really focuses on the thickness of your hair. Okay, that single strand that you have in your head, y'all. Okay, so just breaking down hair texture. So within hair texture, and I'm gonna put all this on my screen so that way you can get a visual as well. Okay, so within hair texture, you have fine hair, you have medium hair, and then you have thick hair, which is also known as coarse hair. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just really break down which each one is, so that way you can really identify with one of those categories. Okay, so with fine hair is known to be the most fragile hair of them all. Okay, and it's the thinnest hair as well. Okay, so that is why it's known as the fine hair. Okay, that specific strand is really thin. This type of hair also does not do well with oils as well. Okay, so because that hair strand is fine, it is often weighed down by product, okay, and hair oils. So anyone with fine hair, usually, I wouldn't say that you don't put oils in your hair, but put less as much as possible. Okay, so that is fine hair for you. Fine hair also does not hold styles very well. Okay, so you can put a style in someone's head that has fine hair, and yes, it takes the style, right, but it doesn't hold that style for very long. Okay, so that is what it is meant by, like, it doesn't really hold styles as much as someone else who has thicker or coarser hair. Okay, so medium or coarser hair. Okay, lastly, when it comes to fine hair only has 2 layers to it. It is known to only have 2 layers to it. Okay, so if you know anything about just looking at charts within the hair anatomy, for the hair strand itself. You will notice, and I'll provide that picture also up here, but you will notice that picture that you have 3 layers to your hair shaft. Okay, so you have the medulla, you have the cortex, and you have the cuticle. Within thin hair, you only get the cortex and the cuticle. Okay, so that is thin hair. That is how it works. Okay, so let's move on to medium hair. So first thing first, medium hair is one of the most common hairs that is out there. Okay, this is not my facts or anything like this. This is stuff, you know, I have researched and everything else, and this is what I have been seeing, that medium hair is the most common hair that is out there. So that was something new to me. I didn't know that. So medium hair is the most common one. Okay, so much like fine hair though, medium hair can act like fine hair in a little bit of ways, right? So medium hair, of course, is a notch up from fine hair. It's a little bit thicker. So now we're talking about that strand, it's just a little bit thicker than fine hair at this point, okay? So also, of course, like fine hair, that fine hair had its 2 layers to it, okay? So medium hair also has 2 layers. However, medium hair can also have 3 layers, including that medulla, okay? So medium hair doesn't always have to only have 2 layers to it. It is common for people to also have 3 layers to it. So I just want to put that out there so that way you all can know that, hey, my medium hair has 3 layers, that's weird, and her medium has 2 layers. It is common. So that, once again, it goes back to your genetic makeup, okay? So yeah, want to put that out there. Also with medium hair takes hairstyles very well, and it holds hairstyles very well, okay? It is less likely for you to really lose a hairstyle if you have medium hair. And so when they say hairstyles, I want to give you an example of what they mean by, you know, when articles speak about how hair holds styles. I'll give you a really good example. We're just going to use braids for example, okay? I'm just going to use braids because I feel like that's one that people can really relate to and understand. So when you go to somebody and they put a hairstyle on your head, such as a box braids, right? I have medium hair. However, I have a friend, she has very fine hair, okay? So when I get my box braids in and everything else, I'm good. Week 1, week 2, my hair is holding on to this hairstyle. My braids look good. Everything is good, right? I might have to do small upkeeping in the fronts of my head and everything else, but other than that, I'm fine. However, she has fine hair, okay? My best friend has fine hair. So with that being said, week 1, not even week 1, honey, she might get to 3 days and maybe a braid is now slipping from her hair, okay? Slipping out of her hair. So now that braid is falling out. Week 2, you could be looking at her hair she's at this point frustrated the fact that now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 braids that has fallen out of my hair, okay? So let's jump right back into it though. This type of hair also is very resistant to breakage as well, okay? So it does a lot better in that area as well. So that is what medium hair is. It's funny because I can speak on medium hair. I know experience because I have medium hair, of course. Yeah, and I know like the different things that I can do with my hair in regards to products and everything else. But we'll get more into that as well. So that is what medium hair. So going on to thick and coarse hair. Moving on to coarse hair. Okay, so coarse hair, y'all, is the strongest of them all. I'm just letting y'all know. So if you got coarse hair, boo-boo, you got the strongest of them all, okay? So y'all, I love me some coarse hair. Love to see full coarse head of hair. Like, it looks so nice, so healthy, so voluminous, just beautiful, okay? But yeah, so I love all types of hair, but coarse hair, y'all, is the strongest of them all. It has the medulla, it has the cortex, and it has the cuticle, okay? And the dope thing about coarse hair, y'all, is it can take to dye, it can take heat very well, okay? So I wish my hair could take dye very well. I wish my hair can take heat very well, and that's not the case with me. But y'all, that is a really dope thing about coarse hair. So people who have coarse hair can actually do really well with dyes and heat, okay? That does not mean you go out here and just start flat ironing your hair, blow drying it out, and do whatever you want to. And no, it's just saying that it can endure, honey, okay? It can take on the heat and it can take on the dyes, but does not mean that you mistreat it though, okay? So also with coarse hair though, however, with coarse hair, it does take longer to dry, as well as it is more prone to frizz in humid conditions, okay? So that is coarse hair, y'all. That is all 3 strands of hair, okay? Gather this information up, let it resonate in your spirit, in your soul. Get it? We're going to take this time to just let it get in us, okay? So we are going to also move on to how do you determine if you have fine hair, medium hair, or coarse, thick hair, okay? So the dope thing about this is you don't need a microscope to actually look at your hair shaft or your hair strand. You can actually do a test at home. So I am going to provide a video on this, me doing it myself, so that way you can see how I do it, so I can identify with my texture and my density. And I think that would be really nice for you all to know, so that way you can also try at home, okay? So that video will be coming up right after this video, okay? So I will be dropping that video after this. And also, FYI, I'm going to include coming up videos, okay, in the corner of my video, so always make sure you're on the lookout for those, okay? So I'll always tell you what is coming up. So yeah, so how do you determine if your hair is fine, medium, or coarse or thick? So if you have a white piece of paper at home, what you want to do is get a white piece of paper. Make sure your hair is washed before you do this. You want a strand of hair, just one strand of hair, okay? So either from your comb or from your head, okay? Whenever I do the testing, I always pull from the back somewhere, or like I said, you can, you know, pull from your comb as well. So if you have a white piece of paper, you can actually take that strand and put it on your white piece of paper. And from here, you are going to determine if that hair is fine, medium, or thick, okay? So during this process, you really have to use your fingertips, okay? So we are using Side Honey and we are using our touch, okay? So for fine hair, how you know if you have fine hair is if when you see your piece of hair on your piece of paper, your strand of hair, I'm sorry y'all. When you see your strand of hair on your piece of paper, if it is not really visible to you, or it's really hard to see it, and then when you touch it within the tips of your finger and you barely can really feel it in the tips of your finger, and of course you know your hair already as a whole does not hold hairstyles well, you have fine hair, honey, okay? You have fine hair. If on your piece of paper, if you have medium hair, if on your piece of paper, now that hair strand is visible, okay? It's very much visible. It's not hard to see. And then when you put it in the tips of your fingers, you can actually feel it a little. You can actually feel it roll through your fingers a little bit more. And you know that as a whole, your hair takes two hairstyles very well. You have medium hair, boo. You have medium hair. And then for thick and or coarse hair, if that hair strand, once you put it on your piece of paper, it's very much visible. Oh, you can see it. And then when you put it in the tips of your fingers, and you can very much feel it, the thickness of it in the tips of your fingers, and you know that your hair can endure, honey, heat, dye, and hairstyles, and it's prone to frizz, then you know that your hair is thick or coarse. Okay, so that is how you determine if your hair is fine, medium, or thick, y'all. So very easy process, I think, for all of you to do. Like I said, I'm going to try it out and I'm going to share that information with you, but we are going to move on to density, because like I said, density and texture are often confused, okay? So they are not the same. They are not the same, boo-boo. Okay, so